Today we'll be focusing on some key and fundamental aspects of the practice of yoga and meditation. They're very great for beginning your practice and really essential when moving forward with your practice. So first thing, we will be doing a bit of a breath exercise. It's called the Ujjayi breath, which is a breath very commonly used when doing the breath to body movement in our yoga sequences. It's also a breath that helps strengthen the nervous system as well as the digestive system and helps release tension and create space within the body. So first, just sit nice and rooted on your mat in a cross-legged position. Make sure you feel your sit bones nice and rooted into the mat, spine nice and long. Just relax the palms on your knees. Really feel like there's a string that's pulling up through the crown of your head, just lifting your upper body further up. Good. And just close your eyes. And just begin with your regular breath. Just take a moment to really experience each inhale as it enters the body. Feel how the body expands. And feel each exhale as it leaves the body. Also feeling how your body moves as you exhale. Taking this time to just notice how your breath is and tune in is a really great way to kind of see where you're at for the day. Excuse me. Excuse me. Allergy season. All right, so now that we've started to bring awareness to our breath, we'll start practicing the Ujjayi breath. So how the Ujjayi breath is done, you're going to continue that deep inhale and exhale through the nose with the mouth closed, but you're going to slightly constrict the back of the throat. So it's going to cause an ocean-like sound, almost as if you're fogging up the mirror, so kind of like, except you're doing that with the mouth closed. So again, just close the eyes. See if you can create that constriction with the back of the throat, create that ocean-like sound. And continue to breathe deeply. You may already feel a sense of calm overcoming the body and the mind with this breath. Just enjoy it and stay with it. one more deep inhale. And exhale. And gently blink open the eyes. Now we'll start adding a little movement into the practice. So it's really important to understand that yoga is not about, who can stretch the furthest or who can hold the fanciest pose the longest. It's really about tuning inward and building a stronger self-awareness within your mind, your body, your spirit. So with that, just recognize where your body is at. You may notice some areas of the body might be tighter. That could be a normal thing for you, or some days you might notice that those areas of the body are tighter than they were yesterday, and that's okay. Always accept where you're at and just continue to be mindful with every movement. Nothing should ever hurt, or feel like it's going to be causing any sort of injury. You may notice you feel some deep stretching, and that's okay. Just breathe into it, but anytime you feel pain, just come out of the pose, because you should never feel hurt within a pose. So we'll start off with a restorative fish pose. It's really great for opening up the chest and the shoulders. If you have a bolster, use a bolster. If not, just a normal bedroom pillow will work just fine. You can even, if you have two, you can stack two on top of one another, but one will work as well. But place the bolster so it's at the top edge of your mat, running the long way. And then sit in front of the bolster so your lower back is making contact with it. Extend the legs out long in front of you, and then lower the upper body on top of the pillow to rest, and just allow your arms to relax on the floor and the palms face up towards the ceiling. Allow your legs and your feet to fully relax. And just start to notice a nice gentle opening in the chest, in the shoulders, the collarbones. And as we lay here, you can begin your deep Ujjayi breathing. And think to begin each inhale at the very base of the pelvis, allowing the breath to travel up the spine, filling up the belly and filling up the chest. And begin each exhale also at the base of the pelvis, feeling the belly drop and the chest drop. We're going to continue with this Ujjayi breath throughout the practice, but of course if you ever need to release it and return to your natural breath, feel free to do so. Now reach both arms long behind you and interlace the fingers, but keep the pointer finger and thumb out long. And with each inhale, reach through the pointer fingers behind you. And with each exhale, see if you can gently guide your thumbs down towards the floor. So this is creating a deeper stretch in the shoulders and the armpits. Just allow the breath to carry you deeper into the pose. Releasing tension with each exhale. Take one more deep inhale. And exhale, release the hands. Gently place the palms on either side of your hips. And then just gently lift the upper body back up off of the bolster. And making your way back to a cross-legged seated position, which is also called Sukhasana. Again, really feel the sit bones rooted into the mat, spine nice and long. And on your inhale, reach both arms overhead. And as you exhale, lower the right hand down, tenting the fingertips on the mat, just a foot outside of the hip, and then stretch over to the right. And here you want to feel that connection remain with your sit bones in the mat. And really feel like both sides of your body are extending long. So you're not dumping into one side. You're really staying long, reaching long while stretching over to the side. And stay with your breath. Continue to breathe deeply. Good. One more inhale. And exhale, come back to center, lowering both arms by your side. Inhale, reach both arms back up. And exhale, lower the left hand down, tenting the fingertips once again outside of the hip. And then stretching over to the left. Again, staying nice and long with both side bodies, really reaching through the right fingertips here. Feeling a nice gentle opening in the left side of the body. And stay with your breath. One more deep inhale. And exhale back to center, lowering the arm back down by your side. And just roll the shoulders a few times. Circle the neck if that feels good. Good. Now we'll make our way to a tabletop position. So coming onto your hands and knees, make sure the fingers are spread nice and wide. Palms are firmly planted into the mat. The wrists are directly below the shoulders, and the knees are directly below the hips. The back toes are untucked. You want to think to hug the lower rib cage in towards the spine to straighten out the back. And then check out the inner elbows if they're facing towards the front of your mat. Just roll them in to face one another. Good. And on your next inhale, reach the tailbone up towards the ceiling as you drop the belly and open up the chest forward, bringing your gaze slightly up, coming to cow pose. And as you exhale, push through the palms to round the spine, chin to chest, and draw the tailbone down towards the mat, coming to cat pose. And inhale. Reach the tailbone up towards the ceiling, drop the belly, open up the chest, bring your gaze forward, back to cow. And exhale, draw the tailbone back down, push through the palms, round the spine, bring your chin to your chest, coming to cat. Good. Inhale up to cow. And exhale, cat. And continue to flow through these two movements at your own pace and staying with your own breath. Really just loosening up the body here, opening up the front and the back body. Good. Now find your way back at neutral tabletop. And then widen the knees to the outer edges of the mat. Bring your toes together, heels slightly apart, and then sink the hips back onto your heels. Allow the arms to stay stretched out in front of you, and bring your forehead to rest on the mat. Coming to a child's pose here. This is a really great resting pose that you can take at any time throughout your practice. So anytime you may need to catch your breath, maybe you just need to rest a little bit or settle the mind, this pose is always available to you. I always say there's no shame in taking this pose. Anytime you feel like you need it, take it. It's also a really great alternative to downward facing dog, which we'll get into in just a bit. So just take a couple more breaths here. Good. On your next inhale, make your way back up to neutral tabletop. Again, making sure the palms are firmly planted and wrists directly below the shoulders, knees directly below the hips. And take another deep inhale here. And then as you exhale, tuck the toes and lift the tailbone up towards the ceiling, lifting your knees off of the mat and then pushing back, so reaching your chest back behind you. This is downward facing dog. And in this position, we should really feel our palms firmly planted into the mat, as well as our feet. Now, if your heels can't reach, mine can't, so I'm actually on the balls of my feet, but I'm still energetically reaching my heels down towards the mat. I also have extremely tight hamstrings, so my knees are bent, and that's okay. The most important thing here is to feel like you're reaching the tailbone up towards the ceiling and keeping the spine nice and long, nice and flat. Allow the head and the neck to fully relax here. Just take a couple more breaths. Good, and begin to walk the hands back to meet the feet. Coming to a forward fold here, you can keep the feet at hip width distance. Continue to reach that tailbone up towards the ceiling, again keeping the knees bent if you need to. And allow your upper body to just hang heavy. Allow the arms, the shoulders, the head, the neck to fully relax. Good. On your next inhale, bend the knees, and then slowly roll up to standing, one vertebra at a time. Good. All right, so now we're going to move on to our Sun Salutations. So, also known as Surya Namaskar A. It's very, very commonly used in yoga sequences, vinyasa flows. So it's also a really great thing to just do in the morning or in the evening when you need a little bit of a yoga pick-me-up. So we're going to go through all of the poses that make up the Sun Salutation. We'll go through them first very slowly and then allow you to flow with them a little bit on your own. So for this one, you start off in Tadasana alignment. So you bring the toes together, heels slightly apart. If this pinches anywhere, feels tight in the pelvis, you can actually widen the feet back out to hip width distance. So whatever is comfortable for you. And then make sure the quadriceps are engaged, lifting the kneecaps. Tailbone is pointing straight down towards the floor. And the rib cage is stacked directly above the pelvis, again hugging that lower rib cage in towards the midline. And the chest is nice and open, collarbones wide, shoulders relaxed. And the chin is parallel to the floor. Bring your arms down by your side, palms face forward, and think to energetically reach the fingertips down towards the floor. And just close your eyes for a moment here. Taking a few deep breaths. Just notice and observe how your body feels in this pose. This is known as the blueprint to all yoga poses. This is our neutral stance, our center. Good. And staying in Tadasana alignment here, we're going to start going through the motions for our Sun Salutations. So first, from Tadasana, you're going to reach both arms overhead, bringing the palms to touch. You can bring your gaze slightly up. And then as you exhale, dive forward, folding at the hip crease with a flat back, coming all the way to forward fold, and bending the knees if you need to. And then as you inhale, lift the upper body halfway up with a flat back, coming to halfway lift. Gently placing the palms on the shins or the quads. Just avoid the knees. And then as you exhale, fold forward, plant the palms and step both feet back, coming to a plank position. From here, you're going to inhale and slightly shift the upper body forward and lower the knees down onto the mat and untuck the back toes. And as you exhale, you're going to lower down by hugging the elbows into the rib cage, leading with the chest, coming all the way down. Then inhale, roll the shoulders back, shine the chest forward, bringing your gaze up to Cobra. And exhale, roll all the way back down. Inhale, come up through tabletop. Tuck the toes. And exhale, lift the hips high, coming to downward facing dog. And here, if you'd like, you can actually pedal out the feet as we start to open up here by just bending one knee and straightening the other. Good. And eventually finding stillness here. And really reaching that tailbone up towards the ceiling. Reaching the chest behind you towards your thighs. And continue to breathe. On your next inhale, look towards your hands. And then exhale, step the feet up to meet the hands, coming to a forward fold. Inhale, lift the upper body halfway, coming to a flat back, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, reverse swan dive, sweeping the arms up and over the head. Bring the palms to touch, exhale, hands to heart center. Good, just take a couple of deep breaths here. That is one full sun salutation right there. So we're going to go through that a couple more times with that pace. And then we'll have you flow through it a few times on your own, but you're free to follow along with me if you'd like, or move at your own pace. So starting here, hands at heart center. Inhale, reach both arms overhead. And exhale, dive down with a flat back, folding at the hip crease, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, make sure the back is nice and flat. And exhale, fold, plant the palms on the mat and step both feet back to plank. As you inhale, slightly shift forward, lower the knees onto the mat, untuck the back toes. And exhale, chaturanga, lowering all the way down, hugging the elbows into the rib cage. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, lift the upper body, coming to cobra. And exhale, roll all the way back down. Inhale, up through tabletop. And exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips high, downward facing dog. And see if you can take 3 or 4 deep breaths here. Know that you can take a child's pose whenever you need it. On your next inhale, look towards your hands. And exhale, step the feet up to meet the palms, coming to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up. Reach both arms overhead, palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, just take a couple of breaths here. Just pausing in between here. Taking our time. Really tune in and observe how you feel. Good, and inhale, reach both arms overhead. Exhale, dive down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant the palms, step the feet back, coming to plank. Inhale, slightly shift forward, lower the knees, untuck the back toes. And exhale, chaturanga, lowering all the way down. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, shine the chest forward, coming up to cobra. And exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, push up to tabletop. And exhale, tuck the toes. Lift the tailbone high, downward facing dog. Let's take 3 or 4 deep breaths here. On your next inhale, look towards your palms. Exhale, step the feet forward, coming to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, reverse swan dive. Palms to touch. And exhale, hands to heart center. Again, taking a couple of breaths here. Now I encourage you to flow through those movements on your own, with your own breath and your own pace, but of course follow along with me if you need to. We'll go through 3 more sun salutations and meet in downward facing dog or child's pose. And here we'll meet in downward facing dog. Just taking a few nice and deep breaths. And take one more deep inhale. And exhale, lower the knees to the outside edges of the mat. Bring the toes together and sink the hips back, coming to a child's pose. Allowing the forehead to rest on the mat. And take a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, side out the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, side out. And slowly walk the palms back to lift the upper body. And swing the legs out in front of you. And feeling those sit bones nice and rooted into the mat. And extend the right leg long and bring the sole of the left foot to the inside of the right leg. And then angle the right leg towards the corner edge of your mat. So it's at a slight angle. And square your shoulders off towards your toes. Good. Really reach those toes back towards your chest. And think to reach forward with your heel. Good. Take a deep inhale here. And as you exhale, start to walk the hands forward, folding the upper body over the leg, but making sure you're folding at the hip crease and keeping the spine as nice and long as you can. See if you can guide your breath to the back of the right leg. Releasing tension with each exhale. Maybe folding a little bit deeper. And one more deep inhale. And exhale, lift the upper body back up. Extend both legs out in front of you, shake them out a little bit. And then bend the right leg, bringing the sole of the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. And extending that left leg out long towards the corner edge of your mat. Really flexing that foot and reaching the toes back towards your chest. Square the shoulders off to the leg and take a deep inhale. And exhale, start to walk the palms forward. Folding over the left leg. Keeping the spine nice and long. And stay with your breath. One more deep inhale. And exhale, lift the upper body back up. Extend both legs and shake them out. And from here, bring both soles of the feet together. Allow the knees to fall out to the side. Feel the spine nice and long. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, walk the hands forward. Beginning to fold over the feet. Feeling a nice stretch here in the hips. continuing to breathe deeply. See if you can create space with each breath. Release tension with each breath and fold a little deeper into the pose with each breath. And take one more deep inhale. And exhale, lift the upper body back up. Using the hands, gently guide the knees back together. And then place the feet in front of you so there's about a foot or two of space between your heels and your sit bones. And the feet are at hip width distance and the toes are pointing straight forward. And really sit up here. Allow your shoulders to relax down, your chest to remain open, and hook your hands around the backs of your legs, kind of right underneath the knee crease, and start to lower the upper body down until you feel a nice core engagement. As soon as you feel that core engagement, just hold here. And then as you inhale, lift the right leg up, and exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the right. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the left. Exhale, lower. Now from here, if you'd like, you can actually lift both legs off of the ground, or both feet. Coming to a boat pose here. Just make sure you're not dipping into the low back, so everything is staying nice and supported, nice and straight. And if you'd like to go a little bit further, you can release the hands, face the palms up towards the ceiling, and breathe. Good. One more deep inhale. And exhale, release. We'll then lower the upper body all the way down onto your mat. Again, keeping the feet placed at hip width distance. And maybe scooching your heels back a little bit. I find that it's helpful if you're reaching with your fingertips. If you can graze your middle finger on the back of your heels. Perfect. The palms are face down on the mat. Arms are directly by your sides. And on your next inhale, lift the pelvis off of the mat, reaching the front of the pelvis up towards the ceiling. And keeping the knees stacked above the ankles. Coming to a bridge pose here. Just continue to breathe. One more deep inhale. And exhale, slowly roll down one vertebra at a time. Place the feet to the outer edges of the mat. Bring the knees together and rest both hands on your belly. Just take a couple of breaths here. And we'll set up to do one more bridge pose. So placing your feet back at hip width distance, arms by your side, palms face down on the mat. Inhale, lift the hips high. Keeping the knees stacked above the ankles. And think to continue to point that tailbone towards the front. If you'd like to slightly deepen the pose, you can interlace the fingers behind the back and walk the shoulder blades in slightly. And breathe. One more inhale.
And exhale, release the hands and slowly roll down one vertebra at a time. From here, place the feet towards the outer edges of the mat and just windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Just releasing the low back. Good, and from here, extend the left leg long and hug the right knee into the chest. Here you can find movement if that feels good. Maybe you're rocking from side to side or creating circles with your knee. And then bring the knee stack directly above the pelvis and take that knee into the left hand. Extend the right arm long to a T on the floor. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, guide that leg over to the left, coming to a twist. Try to keep both shoulders on the mat and extend the left arm to a T. You can keep your gaze up at the ceiling, or if you'd like to deepen the twist, you can bring your gaze over to the right. Really continue to breathe deeply here. Twists are great for detoxification and massaging the inner organs. Take one more deep inhale. And as you exhale, slowly unwind, coming back to center, extending both legs out long. And then hug the left knee into the chest. Again, finding movement if that feels good, so rocking from side to side or circling the knee. And then bring the knee to stack directly above the pelvis, taking it into the right hand this time, and extending your left arm long to a T on the floor. Take an inhale here. And exhale, guide the leg over to the right. Coming to a twist on the opposite side. Extend the right arm long to a T. Again, you can keep your gaze up at the ceiling, or to deepen the twist here, you can bring your gaze over to the left. And take one more deep inhale. And exhale, slowly unwind, coming back to center. And this time, hug both knees into the chest. Rock from side to side if that feels good, giving the low back a nice little massage against your mat. And on your next inhale, reach your forehead towards your knees, curling into a tight little ball, and hold at the top of your inhale. And then exhale, release, sighing it out the mouth. Releasing all of your limbs onto your mat, extending them out long. Coming to a final Shavasana, resting pose here. So in Shavasana, you want to take this after every yoga exercise you do. Just allow your body and your mind to fully relax and feel supported by the ground underneath you. Release the Ujjayi breath. Return to your natural breath. Just simply be for the next few minutes allowing your body to soak up all of the benefits from the practice today.
And I'll let you be with yourself to lie in Shavasana for as long as you'd like. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.